Love the Jewish People, written by Jack T. Chick. At one time, Egypt was the envy of the world. No nation could touch her for wealth, military power, agriculture, or science. In architecture, Egypt had no rivals. She was the most powerful nation on earth. But Egypt made a fatal mistake. The slaves she used to build her empire belonged to someone else, and their rightful owner watched the Egyptians mistreat his people for 400 years. Now he was going to stop it. These slaves belonged to God. They were the children of Israel. Within weeks, 10 plagues from God turned Egypt upside down. Each plague shot down one of their false gods. When God killed the firstborn in every Egyptian home, Pharaoh decided to let God's people go. When Pharaoh tried to stop them, his mighty army all died in the Red Sea. God's people left Egypt and took her wealth with them. Egypt was destroyed. Today, Egyptian tour guides can only boast about her glorious past. Egypt is now a backward nation, full of memories, relying on others for aid. Egypt is still Israel's enemy. When mighty Rome ruled the world, the Jews were mistreated under her iron fist. Where is the Roman Empire today? Throughout history, many empires sent forth their armies to capture Jerusalem. Babylon, Persia, Greece, and others. Their glory is in ruins. The Jews suffered under each one, and each empire crumbled. In 1933, Catholic Germany, serving the Vatican, launched a 20th century Inquisition, murdering 6 million Jews. The Jews are subhuman parasites that must be destroyed. Instead, God destroyed Hitler and his dream. Israel's deadliest enemy is the Vatican. Israel will regret any agreements with Rome. God will destroy the Vatican just before the second coming of the Messiah. Note, Hitler worked closely with the Jesuits. See The Secret History of the Jesuits by Edmund Paris. Father Abraham had 2 sons. Ishmael, who was the father of the Arabs, and Isaac, who had Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel. And through Jacob came the 12 tribes of Israel. God promised both Abraham and his grandson Jacob, I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. That same curse is still in effect today. Niger, Chad, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Upper Volta, Senegal, Mali, all these African nations have 2 things in common. 1, they all broke off diplomatic relationships with Israel. 2, they all suffered in the terrible famine and drought caused by the expanding Sahara Desert. Here's another example. God blessed England because of Queen Victoria. She was a God-fearing ruler who read her Bible for guidance. Great Britain grew in power until 1918, and Queen Victoria ruled England from 1819 till 1901. But because Great Britain forgot about God's little-known promise to Israel, I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, God has cursed Britain. She is finished as a major power because she crushed the Jews. At the beginning of World War I, the British boasted that the sun never set on their empire. Now her empire is gone. Britain governs only a few isolated islands and small colonies. So what happened? During World War I, the British naval guns were running short of gunpowder. The situation was desperate. Sir Winston Churchill, the First Lord of the Admiralty, contacted a brilliant Jewish chemist named Chaim Weizmann for help. Could he produce 30,000 tons of synthetic acetone so the British could manufacture cordite gunpowder? He did, and became a national hero. When asked what he wanted for his services, he replied, I want a national home for my people. His wish was granted. The Balfour Declaration, issued in November of 1917, was Britain's promise to the Jews of a homeland in Israel. The land of Israel, then Palestine, formerly belonged to Turkey, was placed under British control in 1923. But here's where the trouble started. To find favor with the Arabs, British politicians divided Palestine, giving the Arabs the best land. Jewish immigration was cut to a trickle and eventually stopped. And you can learn more about this in The Fall and Rise of Israel by Hull. As Hitler's bloodbath started in 1938, Jews begged the British for permission to enter Palestine, but their cries fell on deaf ears. They were turned back to Europe and ended up in Nazi ovens. When Israel became a nation on May 14, 1948, Great Britain ignored God's promise to Israel. She opposed the Jewish state, backed the Arabs, disarmed the Jews, staffed the Transjordan Arab Legion with British officers. Today, Britain is in deep trouble. Russia was the enemy of Israel. And look at the mess she's in today. And in the future, the Bible says Russia will be destroyed when she moves against Israel. That will be World War III, a one-day fire war. 1/4 or a quarter of the world's population will die. You can get that from Ezekiel 38. Another interesting note is Israel will survive this war. God has always blessed the U.S. for not persecuting the Jews and for supporting Israel. But now the whole picture has changed. America has armed Israel's enemies, and anti-Semitism is actually on the rise. As a result, America, now deeply in debt, is becoming a mere puppet to the UN in the World Court. The U.S. has put herself in jeopardy, all because of oil. In the end times, Israel will play a vital role in Bible prophecy. Satan's man, the beast, will arise out of Rome as the world leader. His ultimate goal will be to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. The beast will order all armies of the world to converge on Israel to destroy her. This will be the Battle of Armageddon. When all seems lost, Israel's Messiah, Jesus Christ, will burst through the clouds and save her. He will destroy the invading armies, take over all governments, and judge all nations that opposed Israel. Who is Israel's Messiah? Prophecies describing the Messiah. His pre-existence you can find in Genesis 1:26. Born of the seed of a woman you can find in Genesis 3:15. Of the seed of Abraham you can find in Genesis 12:3. From the tribe of Judah, Genesis 49:10. Heir to the throne of David, Isaiah 9:6-7. Born in Bethlehem, Micah 5:2. At the appointed time, Daniel 9:25. Born of a virgin, Isaiah 7:14. Declared to be the Son of God, Psalm 2:7. Would be a prophet, Deuteronomy 18:15. Rejected by his own, Isaiah 53:3. He entered Jerusalem as a king riding on an ass, Zechariah 9:9. Sold for 30 pieces of silver, Zechariah 11:12. Accused by false witnesses, Psalm 35:11. Silent to accusations, Isaiah 53:7. Spat upon and smitten, Isaiah 56. Hated without a cause, Psalm 35:19. The sacrificial lamb, Isaiah 53:5. Crucified with criminals, Isaiah 53:12. Pierced through hands, feet, and side, Zechariah 12:10. Given vinegar and gall, Psalm 69:21. Soldiers gambled for his coat, Psalm 22:18. No bones broken, Psalm 34:20. Buried with the rich, Isaiah 53:9. Resurrected from the dead, Psalm 16:10-11 and Psalm 49:15. Ascended to the right hand of God, Psalm 68:18. And his coming glory, Malachi 3:2-3. The only person, past, present, or future, who could fulfill all these prophecies is Jesus, Yeshua the Messiah. The Messiah came to earth and shed his precious blood to take away the sin of the world. He arose from the dead and was seen by over 500 witnesses. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. If Jewish, request a free Hebrew to English prophecy of the New Testament at the website hopeofisrael.net. The Bible says there's only one way to heaven. Jesus, Yeshua, said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no man cometh unto the Father but by